Hey, this is a, well, of course, this is a video. Um, has something discussed that is not schizophrenia related at all, for once. It's it's the difference between the biological species concept and the phylogenetic species concept. Um, okay, so I took an evolution class when I first went back to college. I think it was 2005 when I went back to college, university. And we had one professor who was a big, really into the phylogenetic species concept, and he was into birds too. I think birds are boring as hell, but anyways, biological species concept states that individuals are members of the same species if they can interbreed and produce offspring that can, interbreed with, you know, individuals of either population. Like, so in that case, grizzly bears and polar bears are the same species. If you want to actually apply the biological species concept, in that way. Um, so, um, yeah, and that was one of the questions my professor had on some really stupid assignment. It was like the first half of the course was all mathematics and stuff like that, and the second half was all like some of the kind of philosophical. I wouldn't call it quite philosophical, but some of the more, like ideas and not more of the mathematics. And it was. I think I was the second, the top student in the class. The class had about a couple hundred people. I was kind of ticked off about that, because I was self-taught before I took the class, which usually happened in most classes I've taken. I'll buy the textbook, years before, and then read it, and then, do okay in the class. But, so he asked to give an example of, and the phylogenetic species concept, and that just states that any two populations that are obviously different genetically or, phenotypically, by appearance or, structure, they differ from each other in measurable ways, are different species. So, and then the next question, it's, so he has to give an explanation of the phylogenetic species concept after the biological species concept. And I said, well, according to the um, philo, phylogenic species concept, polar bears and grizzly bears are different species because they're obviously different. It doesn't matter if they can interbreed. They're obviously different specific groups. So, and the next question, he asked, are human beings the same, members of the same species? I'm like, well, according to the biological species concept, we are. But according to the phylogenetic species concept, a Khoisan, or a sand bushman, like that racist, the gods was, that racist gods must be crazy type person, or person of the race depicted in that racist movie. I said, well, according to the phylogenetic species concept, sand bushmen, or Khoisan bushmen, are a different species from Australian Aborigines. Which, I don't see why they wouldn't be. If grizzly bears and polar bears are different species, why wouldn't, different groups that, are identifiable are different species? But, and then and I emailed him my, to see if this was what the question was about, and he sent me like a page-long rant that he wasn't racist, and it's like, what? I mean, it's a coward. It's cowardly to look at human beings differently than you look at animals. If you're a biologist or a human being or anything, even if you're a fucking dolphin, you shouldn't fucking put humans on a pedestal. And it's not even, it has nothing to do with the value judgment. I mean, I'm not black. That's not a value judgment. I'm very white. You know, white. You know, not a value judgment. So, depending upon what nomenclature you use, you could say that, you know, you could say, for instance, that black people are subspecies of Homo sapiens. So are white people. But, and I was talking about this to my mom, what the professor had said to me, and I'm like, well, according to the phylogenetic species concept, blacks, for instance, would be a subspecies. God, my seems like I'm talking too much. It's hard for me to talk. But and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were racist." I'm like, "Sub just means within. It does not mean lower than." Yeah, people are so quick to think about things in hierarchical terms. It's like, fucking snap out of it. It's stupid. I mean, it's like a snake is a lizard. Alright? It's a lizard. It's a specific type of lizard. Alright? It's descended from a certain type of lizard. I think the iguanids, that's what they're descended from, but they're still iguanids. Doesn't mean that snakes are better than, say, a Nile monitor. Because it doesn't make any sense to say that, because it's a value judgment. I mean, I think that sushi is better than potato salad, but that cannot be. There's no way in hell, or heaven, or Valhalla, or anywhere else, or on Earth, or on the moon, or on Mars, or deep within the superconducting metallic helium of Jupiter, that that a value judgment is right or wrong. It just doesn't work that way. The world doesn't work that way. So Anyways, yeah. So it's cowardly to be that afraid of being racist. I don't really get it. It's stupid. And also, I said this to my buddy Mike. He's like, "Oh, you're a racist." I'm like, "Fuck you." Sub does not mean less than, scientifically. It means within. A subheading in a book is not like a heading that's worse than a heading. A subset of items is not inferior to a set of items. But if you have a value judgment, you can say that it is, but that's just a value judgment. And value judgments are just say what you feel about something. It doesn't say what something is. It's fucking dumb. I don't know. Fucking asinine. So, yeah, I had to get that off my chest. And it was really on my chest. Just like Jesus is in my heart. Oh. It was something that was on my mind. Alright. Yeah. Pissed off about a lot of things, as can be expected.